Hi everyone, my name is Julie, and I want to tell you my story. My mother-in-law, Kelly, used to be different from the vain and shallow person she is now. My husband, James, thinks this change in her personality happened later in life. When they were young, James and Kelly had a simple life. They didn't have a lot, but they used what they had. When James was only 5 years old, his father died, and Kelly had to become the one who earned money for the family. She worked hard to take care of them, and they lived a simple but happy life until James finished college and got a good job. James is a great guy, nice, smart, and modest. He got a full scholarship to medical school and became a doctor. Even with all his success, James has always stayed humble. But things started to change for Kelly when she looked for a fancier way of living. I want to say that I don't have a job right now, and there are personal reasons for this, which I will talk about later. Just because I don't have a job doesn't mean I'm broke or need help from others. Sadly, when Kelly and I first met, she got the wrong idea about me. Maybe it was how I dressed or acted, but something about me seemed to bother her. At our first meeting, Kelly looked at James and asked, "Is this the girl you've been talking about? She's just normal and ordinary. Why would you pick someone like her? Does she have a job?" "My name is Julie. I don't have a job right now, but that doesn't say anything about my value." Kelly quickly called me a gold digger and a parasite, thinking I was only with James for his money. She made strong and unfair opinions about who I am. James was next to me and stood up for me, but the fight with Kelly got worse fast, so we had to go. On the way home, James said sorry for how his mom acted, saying she went too far. He tried to make me feel better, saying his mom had changed and asking me not to let her words upset me. Even though he said it would be okay, I still felt like being with Kelly would be hard. She's the only parent James has now. I chose to take a step back and let Kelly have some space. We can't completely cut her off, especially because we don't have a lot of extended family. I understood that it would be hard to find a way to live together with her. "I won't make you be friends with her," James said, "but can you at least be nice when you're near her?" "I can be nice to your mom, James, but I don't think she'll be nice to me," I said, feeling a bit frustrated and worried. "It's okay, Julie," he said to make me feel better. "I will ensure she stays within the limits. If things get too much, we can discuss having less contact. I care about my mom, but I care about you as well, and I won't allow her to bother you without a reason." Even though James said everything was fine, I still felt worried about my relationship with Kelly. Even though James said he would help me, I still felt like it wouldn't be that easy. James and I got married 2 years after we began dating. Because of money issues, we chose to have a small court wedding. James was sending a lot of money to Kelly each month, saying it was for emergencies. Even after we got married, he kept sending her money, and that made our money situation tough. I didn't say anything because I thought he should help his mom, but soon Kelly turned into a big problem for us. She often said bad things about me, talking with her friends and spreading rumors that I was just after money. At first, I tried to ignore it, but as the rumors started to hurt my reputation, it got harder to just let it go. Even though James tried to help me, Kelly was never nice to me. She looked like she really believed I wasn't good enough for her son. One day, James came to me with some surprising news. "My mom wants to invite you to a little party she's having," he said. I was quick to doubt. Why would she ask me to come when she obviously doesn't like me? I asked, showing my doubts. James said, "She told me she's working on it and wants you to be there." It might sound strange, especially with her money problems lately, but she told me she got by somehow. Even though I was worried, I said yes to going to the party. James thought his mom was trying hard, and I wanted to stay positive. I really wanted us to fix our relationship and maybe even be friends, but I was unsure if Kelly would ever think of me as anything more than a problem in her son's life. The next day, Kelly sent me a text, and I thought it was to invite me to the party. However, her message took an unexpected turn. She started by talking about the party, which she planned to host at a 5-star hotel that everyone had been raving about. She seemed thrilled, promising her friends a fantastic time and planning to invite around 21 people. Curious about the details, I asked Kelly if I was invited to the party, especially since James had assured me that I was welcome. To my surprise, Kelly's response was laced with arrogance and disdain. She made it very clear that I was not invited, emphasizing how exclusive the event was due to her wealth, family status, and the supposed high-class nature of her friends. I was shocked and confused. James had genuinely believed that Kelly intended to invite me, and now I was faced with this unexpected coldness. When I mentioned my assumption that I was invited, Kelly responded with condescending remarks, implying that I wouldn't understand the complexities of planning such an event. Despite feeling hurt, I decided to maintain my dignity. I calmly acknowledged her message and made it clear that I wouldn't attend if I wasn't wanted. Kelly reiterated her stance once again, highlighting her class and status. It took all my strength to resist the urge to respond with anger. Disappointed and hurt, I chose not to share this incident with James. Instead, I decided to quietly wait for the day of the party. As the day of the party approached, Kelly, oblivious to the emotional impact of her actions, sent me a picture. It showed her and her friends dressed in designer outfits, flaunting their wealth and status on social media. I chose not to respond, instead focusing on my work and waiting patiently for what would happen next. After about 5 hours, I received a call from my dad. Here's a little confession. My dad owns the very hotel where Kelly was hosting her party. Unbeknownst to Kelly, 5 years ago, I inherited a substantial amount of money from my grandfather, which I wisely invested in my dad's business. As a result, I now receive a share of the profits from the hotel and other family-owned ventures. Despite coming from a well-off family, I've always preferred to keep this low-key, which is why Kelly had no idea about my background or the high cost of the 5-star hotel she had chosen for her party. During the party, Kelly and her friends ordered freely without bothering to check the menu or the prices, resulting in a hefty $5,000 bill. This turn of events presented the perfect opportunity for a bit of justice. My dad called to inform me that Kelly was at the hotel, shocked by the $5,000 bill she had amassed. She was now pleading for a 60% discount, claiming she was short on cash. What made the situation even more satisfying was that Kelly and her friends had been rude and entitled throughout the event, upsetting the hotel staff. As expected, I shared my frustration with my dad, recounting how Kelly had boasted about her party just to mock me for not being invited. The irony wasn't lost on me. Here she was, flaunting a party she couldn't even afford. My dad understood my frustration and also mentioned how difficult Kelly and her friends had made things for his staff with their rude behavior. Seeing a chance for some poetic justice, I suggested a little revenge. I proposed that Kelly and her friends should be made to wash the dishes, clean the entire kitchen, and mop the floors as a consequence of their insulting behavior. I wanted to make sure that everyone who had mistreated the staff would face the same consequences. And if Kelly tried to pull any tricks, my dad could always call the cops on her. My dad laughed at the idea and gave it a big thumbs up. He even offered to send me pictures of the whole event. It seemed like the perfect opportunity to turn the tables on Kelly and teach her a lesson about humility and respect. Just the thought of it brought a sense of satisfaction, knowing she would finally face the consequences of her actions. A little over an hour later, my dad sent me pictures of Kelly and her friends washing dishes and scrubbing the floors at our restaurant. The images were priceless. My dad also shared a funny twist in the story. When Kelly spotted him at the restaurant, she looked relieved, thinking she was about to be rescued. She confidently told him that she knew the owner and they would be able to get out of the situation. But to her shock, my dad instructed her to start cleaning the restaurant. Kelly was stunned and tried to protest, but my dad quickly reminded her that since she didn't consider me family, he didn't consider her family either. It was a hilarious turn of events, and while I wish I could have been there to see it in person, the pictures were more than enough to make my day. A little while later, James came home looking visibly upset. I could tell that Kelly had already contacted him and likely twisted the story to suit her narrative. As he approached me, he immediately questioned what he had heard, something about my dad making his mom wash dishes at the restaurant. I calmly explained the situation to James, letting him know that what happened was standard practice for us in such scenarios. Kelly had gone to our family's restaurant, racked up a $5,000 bill, and then claimed she only had $2,500 to pay. On top of that, she had harassed the staff, and her entire party had been a nightmare to deal with. Given the circumstances, I believe the consequences were more than fair. James seemed surprised by this and asked how many people Kelly had taken with her and what they had ordered. I informed him that she had taken 21 people and they had ordered a lot, especially the most expensive items on the menu. He expressed disbelief, saying that Kelly had told him she was only taking 5 people and had even invited me, but I had declined. I quickly clarified that things hadn't happened that way at all and showed him the text messages Kelly had sent me. James, wanting to fully understand the situation, asked to see the bills and the texts. I handed him my phone so he could read through everything, and my dad also sent him copies of the bills to further illustrate what had gone on. I showed him pictures of the extravagant party Kelly had thrown. As James looked through the evidence, his anger grew. He immediately called Kelly to confront her, asking why she hadn't told him the full story. Kelly tried to downplay the situation, claiming she had only mentioned being short on cash, and accused me of twisting the story to sabotage her. James wasn't having any of it. He pointed out that not only had she declined my invitation, but she had also insulted me by saying I wasn't classy enough for her. Kelly attempted to brush it off as a harmless joke, but James wasn't buying it. He pressed her on why she would spend thousands of dollars on a lavish party with friends while simultaneously disrespecting his wife. Kelly was left stumbling over her words, trying to justify her actions, but James made it clear that he was disappointed and shocked by her behavior. He couldn't believe she had spent $5,000 on food and drinks while treating me with such disdain. "I made a mistake by giving you money whenever you asked for it, Mom," James said firmly. "But guess what? I'm not giving you any more money ever again." Kelly, taken aback, responded, "But James, you've been so supportive for so long. You can't just stop now. It was a one-time mistake. Why are you overreacting?" "No, Mom, I'm not overreacting," James replied, his voice steady. "This isn't a one-time mistake. If you can't even consider my wife as family, I don't want anything to do with you. I kept hoping you'd change your mind, but you never did. I'm not going to pay you just so you can insult my wife and call her classless, especially when she has sacrificed so much to support you. This ends now." With that, James ended the call and blocked Kelly's number. He turned to me with deep regret in his eyes and apologized profusely for getting angry at me without knowing the full story. I forgave him because, in the end, he stood up for me when it really mattered. We had a serious discussion about Kelly and agreed that she would no longer be a part of our lives, at least for the time being. Although James is now a wealthy man, he understands the importance of staying humble. He found Kelly's behavior completely unacceptable, especially since it was directed towards me. I wholeheartedly agreed it was unfair, and I was ready to remove her from our lives for good. In the days that followed, Kelly's desperation grew. She realized that her own actions might have permanently damaged her relationship with her son, sending her into a state of panic. She started showing up at our house, demanding to speak with James. Each time she was turned away at the door, her demands turned into pleas and eventually into outright begging. Despite having a job, Kelly's income wasn't enough to support the high-end lifestyle she had become accustomed to over the years. Now, with James cutting her off financially, she found herself struggling. Meanwhile, instead of continuing to support Kelly, James chose to invest some of his funds into my dad's business, helping him open new hotels and restaurants in the neighborhood. Kelly was left to face the consequences of her actions, realizing too late that her behavior had cost her more than just money. It had cost her the relationship with her son. We do have plans to expand our hotel business into bigger cities, but we'll have to take things one step at a time and see what the future holds. There are many things to think about when making a big move, and we want to ensure everything is done correctly. Since James stopped sending money to Kelly, her life has changed a lot. She was used to a much nicer and fancier way of living, but now her life has changed a lot. Without money help from James, Kelly had a harder time keeping her rented condo. The bills began to stack up, and she soon saw that her income wasn't enough to pay for the high costs she was used to. After having a hard time with money, she finally chose to end her lease and move into a smaller one-bedroom apartment. Now, after paying all her bills, she has very little money left for anything extra. The nice things she used to have are not available to her anymore. We know all of this because Kelly keeps us updated with emails. She still tries to make her past actions seem less serious, acting like we are the ones making a big deal and that she hasn't done anything wrong. But the truth is simple. What she did caused this situation, and because of that, she will be gone from our lives for a while. About a month ago, I found out that I'm going to have a baby, and James and I are really happy. This news has made us very happy, and we are fully focused on getting ready for our baby. We have been working hard on all the details, like getting the nursery ready and making sure we have everything for when the baby arrives. It's a fun and active time, but we wouldn't want it any other way. I'm really glad that our child won't have to deal with the negativity and shallowness that Kelly shows. As we get ready to welcome our baby, I want to keep our child safe from any bad influences, especially from someone who doesn't care about others. If Kelly ever tries to be involved in our child's life, I will make sure she doesn't get the chance to say anything silly or negative to our child. Right now, we are working hard to be great parents and make sure our child comes into a caring and helpful home. We want a healthy and happy baby, and we are thankful for all the good things we have as we start this new part of our lives. We would love your good wishes and support as we get ready to welcome our baby into the world.